So the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Nigeria last week to visit President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to discuss bilateral agreements. And I could see the excitement on the part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But one question continued to plague the air. Why are these guys running to Nigeria? I must agree that India has been a strategic partner to Nigeria for many years, dating back to close to 100 years. And they have multiple companies and investments in Nigeria. While I do not have an issue with this, I think it calls for concern, because why are we not investing massively in India the way India has invested in Nigeria? And when they have these agreements, it's always at the expense of Nigeria. What is Nigeria selling to India apart from oil? The only product Nigeria exports massively today is oil, while others are beginning to diversify beyond oil. India is the third largest economy in the world, and it means that opportunities are vast. What sort of business discussions did Bola Ahmed Tinubu have with this Indian Prime Minister that is going to be favorable to Nigeria and Nigerians beyond our oil? It is sad that the rest of the world is struggling to emerge. While America has consolidated for many years, China is emerging. Russia is trying to battle its own piece of the pie in Africa. The United Arab Emirates is doing the same thing, and that is why you see South Africa, Nigeria, and other African countries struggling to get involved in the Palestine-Israeli conflict, so they could also have benefit from the loans that the United Arab Emirates is distributing among African countries. Today, India is also getting into our territory. Everybody is struggling to get a piece of Nigeria and Africa. But what are we selling to these people? What is the strategic interest, and what is the future we are building for the next generation of Africans? It is disheartening that we are piling loans. These guys have the loans to give to Africa because they know we have the resources. And they know we have irresponsible leaders who don't think about the next generation. They have leaders who are fixated on money without purpose. Why are we not investing and diversifying our economies? Why is Africa becoming a dumping ground, and why are these leaders finding their way back in Africa? We have vilified the West. We have vilified America, the United Kingdom, Europe, and everywhere. And we have embraced China, Russia, and everyone who has money to give to Africa and Nigeria today. But like we've always known, it ends up like a woman who's in a bad marriage and returns to that husband, whom has always been accused of molesting her. Africa, Nigeria, is always fond of returning to those whom they have long, hard-standing relationships with, because the IMF and the World Bank and the Bretton Woods institutions are available to always bail them out. It is disheartening to see that two presidents are meeting, and on the part of Nigeria, nobody is taking any notes. And this is the situation of Nigeria, and this typifies why Nigeria continues to go the way it goes, because the leader does not care, and their aides also don't bother about any discussions they have and whatever the fallout might be. We must do everything we can to begin to study the patterns. We must do everything we can as Africans to realign our continent. Everyone is coming into Africa because they see the potentials, they see the market is vast, and they have done their projections and they know the emerging markets. If we don't populate our markets, if we don't own these markets, if we don't decide and produce what we would consume, we will become a dumping ground. And it is sad that others have emerged, those whom we all started together with, are beginning to think of the next generation and working towards superseding and becoming world powers. We have to sit down talking about energy, talking about how to get loans to build infrastructures that are not even sustainable. We must look inwards and find solutions to our problems. While it's important for presidents to visit themselves, it is also important for us to also note one thing, that these discussions are not completely in the interest of Nigeria. He had to go around granting the second highest awards in the land to them. What has Narendra Modi done for Nigeria in India? What volume of trade goes on between India and Nigeria? And what has Narendra Modi done so well for Nigeria to deserve a GCON? This baffles me, and I think it's time for Nigeria and Africa to begin to have a rethink. All these visits are not tea parties. They are not in the interest of Nigeria. But we must learn how to negotiate and get the best out of the deals that these guys are cutting, because at the end of the day, we are leaving a generation that might remain undeveloped. India and other developing nations have moved ahead, and we must do everything we can to join these nations as well. I'd like to read your comment about the developing story, and I say thanks for watching.